more recent years, games have felt stale to me, and there are a few standouts like Payday 3, Starfield, Elden Ring, and others, but none scratch the itch of a good mech infantry style game. And with the resurgence and increase in player count of Titanfall 2, I want to go back in time and look at what made Titanfall 2 so awesome. Welcome to a Blitz review. Enjoy the show, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's begin. Unlike most games nowadays, Titanfall 2 launched with a campaign. In all honesty, it's one of the best story-driven narratives I've ever played. The relationship between the main character Jack Cooper and his Titan BT-7274 is incredible. The chemistry is there and the player really feels like a friend with a robot. Jack Cooper completes some of his training with his friend / Captain Lastimosa and then prepares for battle. On the ground, Jack Cooper stumbles out of his pod, but there's no time to rest. He picks up his rifle and starts blasting the enemy. Pushing his way through enemy lines, Jack Cooper finds an opening and is almost crushed to death by a Titan. Just then, BT and Lastimosa are able to give him some medicine and provide cover. However, BT is severely damaged in the process. Jack awakens to see BT struggling, and the giant Titan opens its hatch to reveal Lastimosa. Unfortunately, Lastimosa didn't make it, and Jack buries him on the planet. Turning towards BT, his only option is to power him up and complete the mission. From here on out, there are a few boss fights that Jack Cooper completes, demolishing the apex predators. And no, not those guys. Those guys. Every mission is vastly different, and has you fighting on a plethora of planets. Set designs and areas are unique and match perfectly with the movement the game is designed for. Using the powerhouse that is BT, Jack Cooper makes quick work of IMC forces, eventually uncovering a weapon known as the Arc. This super weapon cannot fall into enemy hands, so Jack and BT are tasked to destroy it. At the end of the campaign, Jack beats Sloan, one of the final apex predators. However, the Arc is functional and must be destroyed. BT comes up with a plan to launch himself towards the Arc. BT's reactor is powerful enough to destroy the weapon, as the Titan's reactor is one of the most powerful things in this universe apparently. As the Titan positions himself into the cannon, Jack prepares himself for inevitable death. However, BT doesn't let that happen. Let me just play the clip.
I sure as hell hope so. We're on our way. Good luck, both of you. Briggs out.
We got a way out of this one, BT?
Calculating. Protocol 3. Protect the pilot.
BT, what are you doing?
Trust me.
BT!
Cooper, we just lost BT signal. We're almost there.
The death of a beloved friend and hopeful revival at the end are a huge payoff for the characters and plot. It doesn't seem like just some stupid gimmick.
Palpatine returned.
And hopefully in Titanfall 3 we'll get a continuation of Jack Cooper's story. But a certain game might be holding Titanfall 3 back. Let's get the basics out of the way. What is Titanfall 2 at its core? It's the multiplayer, and it shows us the conflict between the two major groups. The first is the IMC, a sort of evil corporation that controls a lot of the planets in the Titanfall universe. Then there's the Militia, which is composed mostly of the Outer Rim, and as the name suggests, is composed of anyone who wants to resist the IMC. These are also the two main factions in the campaign. There are many different ways to play Titanfall 2, but the best part is the game mode Attrition. In this mode, there are two teams with an equal number of pilots. You drop into the map, and I mean drop. Then you are tasked with simply gaining as much score as possible and getting to that number before the other team does. After a certain amount of time, you can call your Titan. AI grunts, specters, and stalkers spawn around the map, giving each team some cannon fodder. They also increase the scale of each battle, giving the player a weighted feeling of importance to each match. Classic leveling up incentivizes the player to keep playing, and there's even a rebirth system that allows you to keep leveling up. The player's role as the pilot is split between multiple classes. There's Cloak, grapple, sonar pulse, stim, AWOL, phase shift, and holopilot. If you choose cloak, you can change into a semi-transparent white blob that's fairly difficult to see. I recommend choosing low profile to hide your jet trails to become even less detectable. Next is grapple, and by far the most used class and my personal favorite, allowing the user to grapple huge distances and make some awesome plays. Not only is this class complemented by the fast-paced movement speed and wall running, but you can make these sick swings to further boost your stealth. I usually recommend fast healer as it allows you to heal while swinging away, making it a faster combo for getting out of fights. The sonar pulse is a slim knife that's thrown at a surface. It reveals enemies in a designated area. Other than some pretty sick plays, this class is used in very specific instances, and it thrives on much smaller and closer maps. Stim is pretty simple. Speed. Once you pop the stim, you go blazing fast, and unlike Apex, you actually feel stim. The pilot can cover these huge distances with this ability, and once again is very complemented by Titanfall 2's movement mechanics. The AWOL is one of the most slept on classes. This pilot ability allows the user to place a mini particle wall that amps all bullets you fire through it, while providing cover. Almost no one uses this class because it's not movement based, but against Titans this wall is extremely powerful when positioned correctly. Phase shift is like Wraith from Apex, but doesn't take any time to activate, and in Titanfall that's a must have. This class is great for dealing with Titans because it allows you to get out of sight, becoming invincible for a second, then reappearing to do damage and or disorient your opponent. I recommend low profile or faster health regen because both power-ups are useful for this class. Holopilot is another slept on class, and that's because it's a bit underwhelming. It works similar to Mirage from Apex, as Mirage originally came from the holopilot's idea, although I've seen some decently good holopilots. If I wanted to use this, I would just use the boost that allows me to create 3 pilots. Although I could see this being very good if it was reworked for Titanfall 3, usually people just spam this out of random and it doesn't really trick people. Besides the pilot classes, you have multiple different types of grenades. You have mini electric smoke, my personal favorite. You have the frag grenade, arc grenade, firestar, gravity star, and satchel, each with their own unique gimmicks. Mini electric smoke covers an area and electrocutes your target. Frag grenade is your typical explosion. Arc grenade stuns and you cannot move. Firestar can blind Titans and really kill pilots quickly. Gravity star pulls in enemies so you can shoot them. And the satchel is timing based, so place that baby down and blow her up when you're ready. The weapons in Titanfall 2 suffer from balancing issues, and the top used weapons are the car, alternator, Spitfire, and other weapons similar to those. In addition to the weapons, you have 2 mods, a scope, and a pro tracker. I called them weapon mods and not attachments. That's because what they technically are weapon mods. And I like this system better than something like Apex Legends, because when providing a boost to your weapon, it's not a big enough increase to stop someone with a weapon that has no mods. They're more like a quality of life upgrade. I would usually run increased ammo capacity and faster reload for most guns. The scopes are just that simple. They're scopes. Allow you to change the weapon sight and zoom with a different reticle. The Pro Tracker is a tiny device that is attached onto your gun, showing you the player kill count that you've received with that gun. It is unlocked after regenning with any gun, and it's a nice little attachment. There are a wide range of camos that you can put on every gun, as well as the pilot itself, and these are unlocked using credits, the in-game currency, keyword unlocked, not paid for, and the skins that you can buy from the store are well designed, not gambled for, and are set at a reasonable price, like $5. Not no $20 skin something like Apex is wanting you to buy. The Titans in Titanfall 2 are split into multiple classes, similar to the pilots. There's Ion, Scorch, North Star, Ronin, Tone, Legion, and Monarch. Ion is a well-rounded Titan with a pulse rifle. Energy management is key with this guy, and mismanaging it will result in your Titan's swift death. He has tripwires for cutting off certain areas. Ion's shield can collect enemies' rounds and fire them back, also using a certain amount of energy. His laser shot can be used to quickly kill pilots or deal a small bit of damage to enemy Titans. His pulse rifle can be shot in 2 different modes. The first is a single pulse beam that consumes no energy. However, when you aim in, the second firing mode is engaged and shoots 3 pulse beams that do consume energy for more damage. Ion's ultimate is a laser beam that does max damage. Energy is very important, so make sure you always check your energy meter on the left hand side of your screen when you're riding Ion. The next Titan is one of my favorites. It's Papa Scorch, Fire Daddy. He's an ogre class Titan, meaning more health but he's slower, typically has a bigger chassis. He has an infernal shield that does massive amount of damage, so I typically run the mod that increases the shield's overall damage. His weapon is a thermite launcher that fires a single shot but does burn damage over time. He can fire 2 gas barrels that can later be exploded for premium damage. The last part of his kit consists of a firewall. This is a ground pound single lane of fire. I typically use the 2 gas and this ground pound ability together. His ultimate is a massive ground pound that outputs so much damage, it's crazy. And all of these items in his kit you can upgrade with the use of mods. However, you can only choose one. Like I said earlier, I choose the Infernal Shield upgrade. North Star can either be extremely good or extremely bad, depending on how the player uses the Titan. It's a Strider class Titan, meaning it moves faster and is more nimble, but has a smaller amount of health. Strider classes are typically represented with a much skinnier chassis. North Star's main weapon is a railgun that can be charged to do incredible amounts of damage in one shot. In addition, the Titan has a cluster missile that's a great deterrent for both pilots and Titans. North Star can shoot a grapple disc on the floor that will attach to any Titans that walk near it, keeping them in place for North Star to shoot or get away. The third ability is flight. By using this ability, North Star can hover for a while and still fire its weapon. You can make some pretty sick plays with this ability. The ultimate is pretty decent as well. You fly up high in the sky and send a barrage of fast missiles at your target. It's kind of like what Viper did in the campaign. Ronin is similar to North Star, where I see really good players or really bad players. Ronin is a Strider class as well. The Titan's kit is very up close and personal. Your main weapon is a shotgun that shoots a lead wall of bullets for some pretty decent damage. Ronin's melee is replaced with a much stronger sword attack, which he slashes at his opponents. One of Ronin's abilities is a block, where he pulls out his sword and did what I just said, blocks things. He has a phase shift, which works similarly to the pilot variant. However, if you go into Titans, it will kill you and not the Titan, which I honestly think it should be the other way around. He can also shoot an arc wave from his sword. Ronin's ability is called Sword Core, in which you get a buff sword and can dash around super fast. For people who know how to use it, it's incredibly good. Tone. One of the most controversial Titans. He's one of the characters that I play the most, and now don't criticize me, okay? I do play Scorch a lot, as Scorch is my favorite. I can respect how cheesy he can be. He has a 40mm tracking cannon that can display a lock on a Titan if you hit it. 3 locks and you can fire tracking missiles. The plays that you can make with this are insane. Shooting around walls, shooting over objects, dodging, firing missiles, not even having to aim, it's crazy. His second ability is a particle wall that blocks damage, but it also allows you to shoot through it. It's not an amped wall, it's a normal particle wall, meaning it doesn't boost your bullet damage. It's some pretty good cover, and Tone's third ability is a sonar pulse that reveals enemies in a large radius, similarly to the pulse blade. If you're able to land this on a Titan, it will display 1 tracking point on them. So if you hit them twice and use the sonar pulse, you can get 3 locks, meaning you can fire your missiles. Tone's ultimate is a massive missile barrage, similar to North Star. However, they're tracking, so wherever you move your cursor, the bullets will follow. Legion is an ogre class Titan. Bunch of health, slower movement speed. His main gun is the Predator Cannon, which is basically a minigun on crack. Legion's first ability is a gun shield that provides decent cover while allowing you to move and shoot with it. His second ability is a powerful burst of bullets that can do some quick damage to a Titan or get rid of pilots easily. Legion's third and final ability is a mode changer for the Predator Cannon, switching it between wide fire and narrow spread. His ultimate is Smart Core, which locks onto everything that is holy and is a really powerful ultimate when just trying to blast everything you can see. Last but not least is Monarch, one of the most customizable Titans in the game. His main gun is the XO-16 chain gun, which is found in Titanfall 1, and it's good at taking out pilots and ground infantry. Monarch's first ability is a stun pulse, which can siphon a bit of shield from an enemy Titan and give it to yourself. His second ability is a tiny barrage of missiles, but unlike Tones, they aren't tracking, meaning you can fire this at infantry and Titans. Monarch's third ability is a rearm, which recharges your two other abilities, the siphon and the missile. Now let's talk about the Monarch's ultimate. Well, for starters, it's not the same as the others. This time around, they work as upgrades rather than a single damage output. There's quite a bit of changes that you can equip, but I usually use the double missile mod, intensified electric smoke, and tracking missiles. With this combo, you can output some crazy damage numbers. But keep in mind, there's two other mods that can buff the XO16 and can give it some really overpowered tendencies. But one of the most important questions is, do these Titans work well together? How do they play on the map? Do they mean well? And yes, they do. They work together extremely well. These abilities are huge counters to other Titans and some to others. For example, Scorch's thermal shield basically shreds Legion, since it's slow and cannot run very fast. But it's weaker to Strider class Titans like Northstar and Ronin. Counterplays are important and recognizable because you don't have to pick a Titan based on what the other team chose, and that's a really important game mechanic, but it still allows you to have that knowledge of what works better against what and exploit that. It rewards smarter players while not punishing the masses. All the maps in Titanfall 2 were made decently well. All of them incorporate both pilots and Titans, except for a few which are made for only Titans or only pilots. Some of them are a bit one-sided, but there's always a way around something. My favorite maps are Glitch, Colony, Exoplanet, and Boomtown. For me, all of these maps offer something different, whether it's visually or gameplay-wise. Movement on different levels is important, different paths for both pilots and Titans so you can play cat and mouse. And most importantly, they're just fun to play on. They're all visually pleasing, like I said, and to the eye, the color palettes complement whatever you're seeing really well. There's only a few maps that I would like a rework if Titanfall 3 were to be made. Those are Rise and Blackwater Canal. I feel as if the gameplay on either pilot side or Titan side are segmented on these maps. Rise has these gaps which are annoying and tiny paths that restrict movement. This results in a massive amount of stuff on screen if Titans are in smaller areas, but not a bad map overall. Blackwater Canal suffers from low mobility for Titans specifically. There aren't a lot of paths, and the middle of the map forces you to funnel through one single bridge. The surfaces on this map are awkward to run on as a pilot, so if they were to remake this, please give this map higher towers. This makes me sad because they're all good maps and they look visually pleasing. They suffer from poor choices, but overall the maps are great and are made with movement in mind, unlike Black Ops 3. There's a separate mode called Frontier Defense that has you fight against AI bots. Originally, this was in the first game, so they decided to bring it to the second one in a later update. You have to fight off the Remnant fleet whilst protecting the Harvester. If the Harvester goes down a certain amount of times, you fail. Titans can get special upgrades only unlockable in this mode. I suggest newer players to play this a lot because it lets you get a feel of the game while not getting pounded by higher level players. In conclusion, everything works extremely well together. Pilots stand on their own against Titans, but Titans can kill pilots easily. Such a hard thing to achieve in a game, but it just does it so perfectly. Weapons are awesome and unique. The game credit system is one of the best practices in gaming ever. Customization is key, but you also play as a class system. The game's fun, and that's all you have to think about when you play. No cheap mechanic that's annoying or repetitive, just plain fun. I adore Titanfall and the way it handles its mechanics. In fact, I might go play some right now. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm as a sub 1000 YouTube channel. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy. Have a nice rest of your day. Peace out.